Once again, we want to say good morning to you. We want to welcome you to our webinar workshop this beautiful Wednesday morning. The sun's shining where I'm at. Hopefully, it is where you are too. We appreciate you spending just a small part of your day with us. My name is Brian Griffin, a marketing assistant here at Messer Financial Group. And many of you are already familiar with Messer. But in case you are not, we are an FMO located in beautiful Mint Hill, North Carolina. We started with only 2 agents, and we are now serving thousands of agents across 40 states, and we're still growing. So, the longer that you're in this industry, the more you realize that there are some carriers that you like to work with more than others. Whether it's good customer service that they provide for your clients, great agent support for yourself, or they're just easy to work with. And sometimes the cherry on top is if they have great brand recognition. So these are just a few of the things that I've personally found working with Mutual of Omaha as an agent. And now I'm going to show my age just a little bit here. I remember watching Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom glued to the television as Marlon Perkins, he would send Jim into imminent danger every Saturday afternoon. but this is the type of brand recognition that Mutual of Omaha represents. And I smile every time I think about Wild Kingdom. Now, Mutual of Omaha is more than just a television show. They have a terrific suite of products. And today we'll be speaking with Mr. Dylan Cumming, a life sales director at Mutual of Omaha. Born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, he's worked for Mutual of Omaha for 13 years, and he says he's currently quarantined with his wife and 2 young daughters. So hopefully it's still everyone's still getting along. But before we do get started, I do want to go over the housekeeping rules. We're going to hold all questions until the end of the presentation. If you do have a question, please type it in the box on the right-hand side of your screen, and we will address your question at the end of the presentation. So without any further delay, Mr. Dylan Cummings.
Well, thank you so much. Brian, appreciate you guys having me on the call and giving us the opportunity to get in front of some of your fine folks and talk a little bit about Mutual of Omaha. I think Brian touched on it, but I can certainly take questions at the end of the presentation. Generally, I'm pretty thorough at going through stuff, so I don't anticipate there'll be too many questions. But the design, the flow of the presentation that I put together for you guys is really going to focus in on our final expense product. We'll talk about that at length. And then I just want to give you a kind of a hot take on a couple of the other products that we have available to you that are processed very similarly to our final expense living promise. So again, my name is Dylan Cummings, Life Sales Director at Mutual of Omaha, reporting to you guys today from sunny Omaha, Nebraska. It is kind of a nice day here in Omaha, Nebraska. 70 degrees, going to get up to 90 degrees. So yeah, I'm currently stuck at home. Not a lot to do here in Omaha. Things are just finally starting to open up. But yeah, I'm generally a traveling guy, right? So I'm on the road 50% of the time. So being stuck at home these last 2 or 3 months has been an interesting ordeal. But again, everybody's happy and healthy here. So I'm very thankful and grateful for everything that's happened. But without too much further ado, let's jump in. Let's start talking about Mutual of Omaha and some of the cool things that we have to offer for you. So I know that there's probably going to be a spectrum of different type of agents that are on this call. So some of you are probably maybe new to the industry. Some of you have been around a while, and maybe you haven't known all that much about Mutual of Omaha. Or it's been a while since you sold Mutual of Omaha. This is a new awesome feature that we have just started promoting and talking about. Just rolled this out in February. So this is the Mutual of Omaha Perks. This is a great system that every life insurance enrollee at Mutual of Omaha is automatically enrolled in. So if I have a life insurance policy with Mutual of Omaha, I automatically get access to these great coupons and discounts at local restaurants and retailers. So once the world starts opening up again, that's going to be a much more sought after perk. Health and fitness program, again, once things kind of normalize, we didn't anticipate the pandemic in February when we rolled this out, but once things start opening up again, enrollees have access to a whole slew of gyms across the country for just $25 a month. So a very, very inexpensive way for clients to get access to some really neat gyms that are probably in their own backyard, in their own city, wherever they're at. Hearing in healthcare discounts, vision care discounts, and some fantastic mortgage rates that are available through some of the financial institutions that we have partnerships with. So again, this is something that's automatically baked into every life insurance, annuity, long-term care, disability, critical advantage, accidental death policyholder. They're going to get this no charge, automatically enrolled once they have that policy in force with us. The sort of caveat here is that this can't be used as a promotional tool the way we've developed it. So our compliance folks don't necessarily want you talking about this at the time of sale as a reason to take out a Mutual of Omaha life insurance policy. But what I've talked about with a lot of agents out there is that use this as a way when you're following up with the client to make sure that they receive their policy. When you're doing policy delivery, talk about the Mutual of Omaha perks. Say, hey, just wanted to mention, in addition to you getting that life insurance coverage, you've got this great program that Mutual of Omaha offers, and you're automatically enrolled into it. You don't have to use it, but it doesn't cost you a thing. It's automatically baked into that policy for you. So keep that in mind, that Mutual of Omaha perks for those different product distributions, but especially that life insurance is the one that we're really excited about. So just a thanks for being a Mutual of Omaha customer. And that's again, sort of kind of a brand new program as of February, and we're getting the word out on that. We've had a lot of positive feedback. It'll be definitely something worth promoting more once things start opening back up and normalizing. Second thing that is kind of new for us that we've just recently rolled out and we're trying to get the word out on is our simplified issue life insurance microsite. So you see at the bottom there, it's got mutualofomaha.com/simple. Really any questions you have regarding Mutual of Omaha and you just need a quick answer, this is a fantastic resource for you guys to go out and look at. It's got the whole slew of our simplified issue life insurance product portfolio broken apart for you. It's got training videos on our electronic application. It's got training videos on maybe some our simplified IUL product that we just rolled out in November. It's got highlight sheets for all the different products that are available to you. Frequently asked questions about our website, all that great information, and it's not password protected. You can just hop on this on your phone and start clicking away to get at the information you need. This is really designed to be a quick, simple win for you guys to get some information quickly, so that you're not having to necessarily call into our folks or call me or anything like that. So again, keep that mutualofomaha.com/simple saved as a favorite in your phone. It's a fantastic resource and website for you guys to be taking a look at and familiarizing yourself with Mutual of Omaha. Some other resources that we have available for you, wanted to get these out up front. We're going to be talking about Living Promise. That's our final expense product. That's the one that we'll talk about at length today. But we've got some electronic application videos that are available for you to go out and review there. So I am going to talk a little bit about our e-app, but I'm not necessarily going to go through that e-app step by step because I've already got that training video. It's a 15-20 minute training video available to you that you can go out and watch right now from that mutualofomaha.com/simple website. So if you do have any desire to go through and just before you do an electronic application with us, you want to see what it looks like, get a feel for it, and I absolutely recommend that you do go get a feel for it. That's absolutely the best resource for you to go and familiarize yourself. You'll see that there are two different signature options available on the Living Promise there. One's in person and one is the email signature. So we have a lot of agents that are doing virtual sales or sales over the phone, and we're okay with that so long as you're employing that email signature option from our electronic application, right? That's really the only tool that we provide that would allow you to do complete an application that's not face-to-face with the client in a paper application scenario. It is a web tool that you would use, so your clients do need to have access to email in order to complete their electronic signature. That's the biggest part of it. Some folks have had trouble, especially in that older age demographic of final expense, getting some of those older folks that maybe aren't necessarily tech savvy, getting through that email signature process. But one thing that I've heard that a lot of agents have been utilizing is use video Zoom to have the client pull that up and say, hey, pop me up on your phone and show me what you're looking at, and I'm going to help guide you through that email so you can click the right buttons and get that signature taken care of. So still a great feature. We haven't seen our final expense sales drop off at all really through this pandemic, just because we are already had that electronic signature in play. So people were easily able to pivot to that and continue to write business as they were before. So our e-app is located from our website on the Sales Professional Access website. I think I do have the link on this one here as well. So that's mutualofomaha.com/broker. So once you're appointed with us, you go in there. If you've never done it before, you use your production number to create a username and password. And once you've done that, you're off to the races. You've got access to all the tools inside of our website, including that electronic application that lets you take a telesale by using the email signature option. Electronic application also available on our simplified issue term. And we're working on getting that e-app on our IUL Express, and our IUL product also does have a drop ticket that's available for it on the fully underwritten. Worth mentioning here, we have so many products at Mutual of Omaha that sometimes it's a struggle for us to talk about everything at the same time. It's a good problem for somebody like me to have, but we do have a whole host of fully underwritten insurance products that are the traditional style of life insurance, where an examiner comes out and takes a blood draw and a urine draw from a client, and takes 2 months for us to get all the medical records for the client and go through that thing. So we do have those types of products, but every product that I'm going to talk about today is simplified issue, where it's really just you, the agent, taking that application with the client, asking the questions by that application, and then Mutual of Omaha takes care of the rest. We're going to run a couple of background reports to make sure that all the answers on those applications are true as best as we can tell, and then that's it. We're not looking at medical records from the client. We're not looking at any sort of exams or anything like that we need from an exam company. So these are all simplified issue, quick turnaround. Our underwriting team has pretty much been on the ball throughout the pandemic. We're looking at usually a 2-day turnaround for underwriting from the time that we get the application. Sometimes when they're on the ball, it's even shorter than that. You can see things that are turned around within 24 hours of application submission. So we've been very proud and happy with our underwriting team as they've really stepped up during working from home and all the different challenges that have been presented to us over the last couple of months. Just some other important websites, that mutualofomaha.com/simple, obviously the one that we discussed a little bit in the slide before. Discover IUL. IUL will be a big push from Mutual of Omaha over the next couple of years. It's a product that we believe in, and has really been eating up a lot of market share in the life insurance space. So we've developed some really cool products that are there. If you're curious about IUL, you want to hone your product knowledge about it, that's a great resource for you to go and kind of go through some of the videos and some of the sales concepts that are available to you on discoveriul.com. That Sales Professional Access, that's our our agent portal. That's so once you're looking at case monitoring or you're looking at commission statements, that's where all that good stuff is housed. Quoting Mutual of Omaha, we've got a really great mobile quote tool that's available for you from the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. Either one, it plays with all the different handheld device operating systems. Go out there, search for Mutual of Omaha, and the one you want to download is called Quotes for Sales Professionals. Again, Quotes for Sales Professionals. It's a very intuitive, very simple application to download. And once you've downloaded it onto your phone, it doesn't require network connectivity. So you can get to that quote no matter what. Even I've talked to a lot of agents that are traveling to run down leads or talk to clients, and maybe they're in a home that is away from their cell phone network, and that client doesn't have internet in their home, that type of thing. Well, you can just hop onto your phone and quote them no matter what, because you've got that application downloaded on your phone up front. WinFlexWeb.com, that's where we do our really robust illustration software for our more complicated universal life products. And then we also do a newsletter where we send you an email every Wednesday with product updates, documentation updates anytime we're changing the paperwork of an application, that type of thing. That's a good newsletter to be on top of all the new things coming through Mutual of Omaha. So again, submitting applications here, just want to point out a couple extra things. We talked about the electronic application IGO for the Living Promise that's available to you. Good thing to talk about that, is that it's also an instant decision that's available. So that's really been key for us in the last year, coming up with that instant decision process through the electronic application. So what we mean is when you take that application electronically, even if you're doing it over your phone, once the client signs and completes the application and says, yes, I want this, I want to apply for this life insurance, we're going to actually run our reporting in the background, run our underwriting algorithms in the background, and make sure that we're giving you, that client, a decision up front. So you know right then and there when you're with the client on the phone if they've been approved or declined, or if they need to kick it to underwriting for some additional information, right? 70% of the time, we're getting an approval or a decline, so really a finalized answer at the end of that application. Sometimes we do have maybe dual use medications or something else coming up in the MIB history that we need to scrutinize a bit more with a live underwriter, and that's when you'd see that referral happen. But 7 out of the 10 apps you see, you're gonna get a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you're gonna have the the knowledge when you're there. If do I need to pivot to another product, or is the client gonna qualify for what I've had them apply for? So that's huge. So you're not having to follow up with the client after the fact. You're getting that decision up front, and that's what our electronic application is able to provide. That e-app, again, available on the Term Life Express. Some of our other products that we'll chat about here: the Children's Whole Life Guaranteed Advantage is our guaranteed issue accidental death coverage, only covers for accidental death, and then our fully underwritten term and IUL as well. We do allow some other signature methods electronically, and that's going to be primarily DocuSign. So if you do have an account with DocuSign, and you're selling over the telephone or something like that, you can use DocuSign as a method for the client to complete that application. So that's fine. We're absolutely fine with that electronic method as well. But as an agent, it is up to you to sort of create and maintain that relationship with DocuSign using their software. But it is approved. Some others that are very similar to DocuSign, but we don't necessarily see as often, is going to be Adobe eSign, that OneSpan, and Alpha Trust. Those are very similar services to DocuSign. I think DocuSign's about $40 a month, and they're all similarly priced. So if you don't have to, we're not saying that we require the DocuSign by any stretch of the imagination, but if we have had some agents that are really appreciating the ability to use that as they've grown familiar with that software. So keep that in mind. We do allow DocuSign really on any of our life applications, including the IUL, GUL, and the Living Promise and Term Life Express as well. So keep that in mind. Some benefits of using that electronic application. Again, so IGO, I don't know if I honed in on this, but that's the title of our electronic application. It's a third-party service that we use to help develop that. I think some other carriers also use the iPipeline IGO format, so you may be familiar with it already through some other carriers. But we love it. Our underwriting team loves it because every single application you submit to us comes in good order. You can't skip a signature. You can't skip over a line. You can't miss a question. Everything comes to us exactly as it should be, and our underwriting team loves it. They prioritize these over paper apps when we get them in because they can be reviewed and pushed out so quickly. So they love the IGO. You're never going to have an out-of-date version of the application, and it accelerates both the issue process and the payment process. As I mentioned before, really our goal for turning around a new business application in underwriting is 2 business days. Sometimes they stretch into 2.5, 3 days, but generally we're within that 2-day turnaround goal, and we've got a very, very fast payment process behind that. So you're getting paid next day. So as soon as we process and finalize that application, as long as it's placed in force by 3 p.m. Central Time, you know that you're going to get reimbursed for that the very next day in your bank account on that daily pay cycle. So very, very fast pay, quick issue with that underwriting team that's absolutely dedicated to the service of your underwriting of your applications. Keep that in mind. You can track the app start to finish from that electronic application portal. It validates everything in the field, especially with the Term Life Express and the Living Promise. It's going to validate that with an offer. So you're going to get that approval at the end of the application. And you've got a couple of different signature methods that are available to you. So the other nice thing is once you are back out in the field, or some of you may have never left, depending on where you're at, that electronic application is great because you can still be face-to-face with a client, use that face-to-face signature method that's available to you, and still get that instant decision. That's been a part of the application from the get-go as well. So let's jump in. Living Promise. Let's talk about product, right? This is really our first true final expense product at Mutual of Omaha. We rolled it out about, I think it's been 6 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. And we never really had a true in the brokerage space final expense product before this, but this year over year has doubled in sales with Mutual of Omaha to the point where now it is our #1 life insurance product against all of our other life insurance products. So for many years we were really just a traditional life insurance product distribution with our fully underwritten stuff, and we sold some simplified issue stuff as well. But since rolling out the Living Promise, we've really become really a final expense company. Brian hit it on the head at the beginning of this. It is our brand recognition that is bringing us to the dance and making this such an attractive product. People in that 45 and older issue age demographic have absolutely such a positive brand recognition with Mutual of Omaha. It's one of the best marketing campaigns that I've seen any company do of any industry. Was Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom with Marlon Perkins, right? That absolutely is the reason why our Living Promise has been such a success over the last 5 or 6 years. So people have heard of that show. Everybody that was 45 and older watched that show when they were a kid. That's just been such a just distinctive feature for us that we really have been impressed with people's response to the Living Promise. So that's it. Brand makes us stand apart from the pack on the final expense product. I'd say the second thing that makes us stand apart is going to be pricing. I think out there for both a level benefit plan, which is day one coverage, or even that graded benefit plan, which for us is that 2-year waiting period for maybe your less healthy folks. Pricing, we are frequently #1, no matter what company that you're stacking this up against, and we're always going to be at least in the top 3. So yeah, we always encourage you to quote us because I think we're going to be unbeatable on price because that's really where we're trying to stand apart. We've got great pricing, we've got that brand name, so adding those two things together, I believe that basically creates an irreplaceable product for your clients, and that's going to be the best thing for you guys to make that persistency and placement stick. So we've also kept it very simple with the Living Promise product here. We've got 2 separate benefit packages that your clients can qualify for. We've got the level benefit plan, which is day 1 coverage. They know that they're going to be covered for the full face amount day 1 of approval. And then we have the graded benefit plan. Level benefit is going to be for your healthier folks, those who can answer no to all the health questions on that application. The graded benefit plan is going to be for your maybe less healthy folks. So they may have some health issues where they're answering yes to 1 or 2 of those questions on the application. For those folks, for those less healthy folks, they're not going to be covered for that full face amount until they've had that product for a full 2 years. It has to be enforced for 24 months before they're going to be covered for that full face amount. Should they die due to natural causes inside that first 2-year period, they're still going to get all their premiums paid back to the beneficiary plus 10% of that premium payment at that stage, wherever they land in that 24-month period. So 110% return of premium in the first 2 years, and then covered for that full face after that 2-year period. Accidental death, regardless of benefit plan, is going to be covered for the full face amount day 1. So there's no distinction between accidental death between the level benefit plan and that graded benefit plan. They're both fully covered day 1. So if I get in a car accident the day after I take out a level benefit plan or a graded plan, I'm absolutely covered for that full face amount that I've applied for. Just keep in mind the issue ages are going to be a little bit different between the 2 plans. 45 to 85 for the level, a little abbreviated on the graded plan, only goes up to age 80. And same with the face amounts, 2,000 to 40,000 on the level benefit plan. 40,000 is pretty attractive for a final expense policy. Not a lot of other final expense carriers out there quite go up to that 40,000 level. So that's also a nice feature if you have folks that are interested in maybe a little bit more coverage than average. That availability is built into the product for them. A little bit lower on the graded benefit plan, 20,000 is as high as you can go. There is a distinction for tobacco and non-tobacco on level benefit plans. So if they're a smoker, they do have to apply for the tobacco rates. If they haven't used tobacco in the last 12 months, they can qualify for the standard non-tobacco rates. And then on the graded benefit plan, there's just standard. There's no distinction for tobacco. It's going to be the same premium whether they smoke or whether they don't. So also keep that in mind. Sometimes those are incredibly attractive rates for people that smoke and can only qualify for a graded benefit plan. So if you do have folks that are maybe a little bit less healthy and they're tobacco users, quote them the graded benefit plan. That's going to save them a ton of money in the end. So let's take a look at the application for Living Promise Final Expense. So again, this is a very typical final expense plan with the two separate benefit packages that are available to them. This is whole life, so this is really just a policy that we expect the client to take out. They're going to pay this premium for the rest of their lives, and know that premium is never going to go up, and that benefit's always going to stay the same for them. So it's a very simple, straightforward whole life insurance policy. Here's the first section of health questions that they're going to encounter on the application. And these are the knockout questions, right? 1 through 4. If they answer yes to any question in 1 through 4, then they cannot qualify for the product. They're going to be a decline no matter what. You can move on and go to the next carrier, the next product, whatever you need to do. That's the first 4 questions. So absolute knockout. Any yes answer knocks them out of the first 4 questions, right? So hopefully when you're taking an application with the client, they're able to answer no to all of these questions, and you're able to move on to the second set of health questions. Provided they answer yes to any of these questions, 5 through 10, then they can only qualify for the graded benefit at that stage, right? So presumably they answered no to everything in the first section. They answer yes to 1 or more here, and they can answer yes to multiple questions on this part of the application, right? There's no limit to how many yeses they can give on this one. So as long as 1 or more yeses here, they're only going to qualify for that graded benefit. So that's how we're kind of establishing if they're a little bit less healthy. I'd say that the biggest thing to keep in mind here, the thing that I encounter more often than anything else, is how do we treat diabetes, right? And you guys as final expense agents probably know that comes into play a lot. And so it's a good thing to clarify for us, because I think every carrier is a little bit different. So here's how we do it. So diabetes diagnosed before age 50 is going to be considered a graded benefit for us only, right? So that they can have diabetes, but in order to qualify for the level benefit, that diabetes cannot have been diagnosed until I'm at least 50 years old or older, and there can be no other complications associated with the diabetes in order for me to qualify for the level benefit, right? So that's the biggest thing. We don't care about what type of diabetes is, if they're insulin dependent, as long as it's diagnosed after age 50 and there's no other complications associated with it, we're okay with it. We're fine. You can get the level benefit. You can answer no to that question, that top question, number 5, and still get that level benefit. So keep that in mind. That's our treatment of diabetes. That's probably, I think, the number 1 question or a head scratcher that I get about the application. But once you understand that age 50 is really sort of the denominator for us, I think you'll be in good shape. So the good news is, if you have a client that answers no to every single question on section 2 and section 1, then they're going to qualify for the level benefit, right? So very, very simple. We've kissed it, as they say. Keep it simple, stupid. Just two benefit packages that are available to them. The level benefit, they answer no to everything, they qualify for level. Graded means I answered yes to something in section 2, and not eligible for coverage means I answered yes to something in section 1. So very, very simple application. Again, I mean, you're going to know, right? When you're asking these questions for the client, you're going to know based on the way that they respond whether or not they're going to qualify for it. It's a very simple application to understand that way. For the final eligibility underwriting requirements, what are we doing at Mutual of Omaha? Well, we're going to check the MIB. So we're going to look at their history based on the other insurance applications they've made in the last 5 to 10 years. We're going to do a pharmaceutical check. So we're going to check their pharmaceutical history to make sure that all their answers on that application are honest and are matching up with the questions they have. Really, that's the ultimate driver. If anything gets kicked to a referral, is usually going to be something in the pharmaceutical history that's not matching up with what the client is answering on that application. So, let's say that maybe they said, no, I have not been diagnosed, or they answered no to the diabetes question, but we checked their pharmaceutical history, and for a 50-year-old who's been taking metformin for 10 years, we might say, hey, that doesn't make sense to us. You've been taking metformin, well before age 50. Help us understand, why you were taking that drug, if not for diabetes, that type of thing. So keep that in mind. That's kind of the type of thing that's going to get kicked to a referral for an underwriter to reach out to the client and complete a phone interview. So we do complete phone interviews as needed. So keep that in mind when something does go to a referral from underwriting. Usually that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and reach out to the client and get a hold of them to discuss whatever issue came up through that application process. The good news is our phone teams are Johnny on the spot. They are making phone calls, within hours of the application showing up to us from referral. So, if you do have a client that has a referral that comes up, let them know, hey, usually Mutual of Omaha is going to reach out to you same day. So be by your phone, be prepared for that. Let them know, hey, they're probably going to establish who you are, go through something very similar to what you just did on that application by saying, I have your name and address and everything is right. Let me make sure that I have all the information entered correctly. And then also, here's a couple of health questions that we need you to help us clarify to make a decision on that application. So that's the Living Promise underwriting guidelines, and that's really it for Living Promise final expense. Very, very simple product, easy for you to understand, easy for your client to understand. Some great benefits here that we'll just kind of focus on as far as the conclusion of Living Promise goes. It's whole life permanent insurance. Again, this is designed for your clients to keep for the rest of their lives. It does endow at age 100. So if you do have clients that are lucky enough to live to be age 100, that cash value in that policy, because it is a whole life policy, will equal whatever the face amount is that they've chosen. So if they have a $40,000 policy, that cash value is going to equal $40,000 at age 100. Super competitive pricing for both level and graded benefits. Again, I think we're usually number one in the level in the level scenario, and graded benefit, I think we're number one by a mile compared to anybody else. We actually just repriced our graded benefit at the beginning of the year, and I don't know that anybody even comes close to us on the graded benefit. So keep that in mind. If you have less healthy folks, less healthy smokers, that graded benefit is absolutely the best price in the United States right now. Does come with the nursing home confinement and accelerated death benefit rider automatically baked in to the level benefit. It's not included in the graded benefit, I'm afraid, but it is a nice feature that's available to folks who do qualify for the level benefit. Nursing home confinement rider means that I can accelerate that death benefit at some point in the policy life. I am permanently confined to a nursing home. It makes a lot of sense, right? If I'm going to a nursing home, obviously there's a good chance that I won't be able to afford my life insurance anymore. I want to be able to accelerate that death benefit because my priorities have changed. I'm not going to be able to afford this anymore, and I'd like to get more out of that policy than what the cash value is built up into that point. So that's a great feature for them to get at that death benefit while they're still living. Still has the Mutual of Omaha Perks program automatically built in. So for seniors who want to stay healthy, it's got that great gym package that's automatically built in, where it's just $25 a month for a whole slew of gyms that are available to them across the country, and that instant decision electronic application process. Again, at the end of the application whether or not they're going to be approved. Whether you're going to get paid the next day right then and there. So that's a fantastic feature that's built into the Living Promise. So before we get to questions, I just want to hit on a few other products real quick, and I'm not going to get as in depth with these because I know we're kind of running up on time here, but we do have a very competitive Term Life Express product that's a simplified issue term. So if you got ever running into maybe younger folks or folks that may even want more coverage than 40,000, they do have to be healthier for the Term Life Express. It's tighter underwriting compared to a final expense policy, that's for sure, but that's completely available to you. We recently, within the last year and a half, raised the issue age from 65 to 70. which I thought was interesting. We had a lot of folks in the field asking us, hey, I have a lot of 65-year-olds that are just taking out mortgages at age 65, and they need mortgage protection. They need something that's going to protect their loved ones against that mortgage because they're taking out that mortgage so late in life. And yeah, we've seen a lot of sales skyrocket in that 65 to 70 age frame because they need more than 40,000 in coverage for those older issue ages. So interesting, right? Just an idea that's some other good things for you to know here about Term Life Express. Again, very competitive pricing on simplified issue term. Return of premiums available on the 30-year term. So if you have some folks that like the idea of getting all their money back if they outlive that term, that's an available rider. Does come with the typical living benefits that people talk about all the time here. So I can get accelerated death benefit for chronic illness. I can get accelerated death benefit for critical illness in addition to terminal illness accelerations. And then just like Living Promise has that Mutual of Omaha Perks program and the instant decision electronic application available as well. So keep that in mind. That's also available to you, the Term Life Express. Real quick here, the children's whole life. So we have on the other end, final expense is 45 and older. On the other end of the spectrum, we have a whole life insurance policy that we've developed specifically for children. So the issue ages is 2 weeks old to 17 years old. And this is, we sell hundreds and hundreds of these applications every week. It's the best add-on product that you can possibly think of in a final expense environment. And the reason is grandparents can sign the application without a parent's signature, right? So this is a whole life insurance policy. It's great for kids. Get those kids covered immediately. Has a guaranteed insurability rider, so you're protecting their future insurability should they ever contract an illness or issue or concern later in life. They can always increase that coverage later in life to get a solid amount of life insurance no matter where they're at in life. But grandparents can sign for it, right? So I can get $5,000 to $50,000 coverage on every single one of my grandkids. And what grandparent doesn't want to cover their grandkids? What grandparent doesn't love their grandkids and say, hey, I see that you've got some pictures on the wall there for Tom, Susie, and Sally. What if I told you for just a few bucks a month for each of them, you could get them $10,000 in life insurance coverage and protect their future insurability? So that's a huge add-on feature. Again, this isn't like going to pay for the kids' college. That's not what it's designed for. The premiums are so inexpensive that it really is just designed to be something that the client can hold on to for the rest of their lives and have that life insurance protection for the rest of their life for just a very, very inexpensive premium that's available to you. So premiums run from anywhere from $2 a month to $18 a month, depending on how much coverage you want to get those kids and how old they are. But again, I have agents that basically have laminated the banded premiums for the kids and say, hey, do you want the $5 coverage or the $10 coverage for the kid? And then that's it. They write up one application. This is available on the electronic application. Simple 2-question application. And again, you can complete it for all the grandkids. So if they have 10 grandkids, you can put all 10 grandkids on a single application. That's fine. But we are going to split that apart once we get it to underwriting. You'll have 10 separate whole life insurance policies for those 10 grandkids or kids. Parents can do these too, but we do think that the lion's shares of these come from grandparents right now. So very, very cool little product that if you didn't know about it, again, it's not gonna, that cash value isn't gonna build up and pay for the kids' college or anything like that. And it's probably not gonna make you rich either, right? Like the premiums are low, so maybe the commission's not gonna be that huge. But I talk to a lot of agents that tell me like, hey, this paid for gas this week. You know what I mean? The children's whole life I had paid for me, going from appointment to appointment in the gas, and that's great. So keep that in mind. Great little add-on product that's available to you, the children's whole life. Last, let's talk about our Guaranteed Advantage product real quick here. This is technically filed as a health product. So keep in mind, if you're selling life insurance, you do need to have a health license and be appointed for health to sell our guaranteed accidental death coverage. But really, it's the only true guarantee issue coverage that we have available in the brokerage space, right? The only zero health question application that we have is the Guaranteed Advantage accidental death program. So if you do have some folks that are absolutely uninsurable, maybe younger folks, guys in their 30s and 40s that can't get life insurance otherwise, they're maybe too young to get a affordable final expense policy. but too old to get the children's whole life or something along those lines. Uh, this is a great feature for them. That, look, you've got 20 or 30 years of life expectancy. You're working, you're providing for your family. Why not get you some significant coverage for at least the accidental portion of it to make sure that your family's not surprised should you get in a car accident, or should you be working on the roof and fall off, anything like that. That accidental death coverage is a great way to do that, and you can get a significant amount of coverage out of this. So for $500,000, which is that top uh, 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 issue limit that's available on the accidental death, it'll double that face amount if you die in a common carrier accident. So that means a plane, train, or automobile if you're a fare paying passenger, and it'll pay 125% of that death benefit if you're in an automobile or pedestrian accident, right? So if you're in your car in your personal automobile in an accident, it's going to pay an additional 25% of whatever face amount it is that you took out on that. So guaranteed coverage up to 500,000, significant amount of death benefit. We don't ask a single occupation or health question on this. Again, this is a guaranteed issue accidental death. Return of premium, also a cool feature that's available on this up to age 50. So it's basically the same as the Term Life Express, a 30-year return of premium that's available. We've got the whole gamut of different types of plans available. So you can do a family plan, you can do an individual plan, you can do a plan where just the mom and the kids are covered, or just the dad and the kids are covered. So whichever way you want to slice it or dice it, that's available to you. Also available on the electronic application through iGo. So keep that in mind. All these products that we talked about today are available through that electronic application from our website. So that's it. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I wanted to make sure that you had all the bells and whistles and details about Living Promise, and then a couple other maybe ideas here that for you guys to keep in the back of your mind if you ever run into a opportunity. You know that Mutual of Omaha has other solutions that are available to you as well. So at this stage,
Awesome.
let's open it up for questions. Brian, how
Absolutely.
do you want to do this? Do you want to use the
So
chat
I'll
feature or just
actually
have people talk?
no, I'll actually read the questions off to you,
Cool.
and let you know what some of the agents are saying. The first thing I want to tell you is I have almost all of these products throughout my family. So my experience with Mutual of Omaha has been awesome. And I wanted you to. I have a question, or not a question, but something I want you to maybe expand on a little bit, as far as the
Please.
children's whole life policy that you were talking about. Talk. Can you kind of talk a little bit about as far as the premiums are concerned? Do they go up at all?
No. So it is a whole life insurance product, very similar to the final expense, right? So if you take out a $10,000 policy on your 2-year-old and it's $4 a month, it's going to be $4 a month for the rest of your 2-year-old's life.
Oh my
So
goodness.
same sort of feature where it's going to endow at age 100. So if they have a $10,000 policy, it'll equal $10,000 by the time they're 100. So again, that cash value is never going to exceed 10,000 in the policy life. So it's, again, not going to make them rich, but they are always going to have that death benefit that's available to them, and they can increase that death benefit later in the policy life if they want to. So that's the guaranteed insurability rider feature that's really cool. If they do develop some sort of issue later in the policy life and they become uninsurable, I can double my face amount, or we see here it goes up to 300,000. That's if you got the full 50,000. You could accelerate it an additional 6 times to eventually reach 300,000 in total face amount, because you took out the $50,000 policy on your 2-year-old, right? That's a
Right.
very cool feature where you are protecting them for the rest of their lives insurance wise.
Absolutely. And I mean, every single person on this call, when you meet with someone and they have children and grandchildren, this is a product. I mean, I have this on my 12-year-old right now. You know, it guarantees their insurability, and that price is locked in. So, I mean, I'm just so impressed with this plan. And I just kind of wanted you to drill down a little bit on that. So I appreciate that. So, Dylan, we do have a few questions here. So I want to make sure that we do get to them. Um, the first question is, will we have access to the PowerPoint after the session is over?
Absolutely. I will send you the PowerPoint and you can blast it out to your folks.
Awesome. Okay. So the next question says, how do these rates compare to what you offer with AARP?
So we're not AARP, and I think AARP has like a guaranteed issue plan, if that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, and that's actually, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But so I think so that's a direct to consumer thing, and we also have a direct to consumer product that's similar to AARP that's guaranteed issue, right? Like it goes through the mail and people
Hmm.
aren't underwritten at all. And there's a 2-year waiting period on every single one of those. And that was priced really competitively. The reason being that we get both healthy folks and not healthy folks in that risk block, right? So because we were getting so many healthy folks in it, we were able to keep the premiums on that relatively low. And AARP is the same way. So they have the same model where they're just sending that out to whoever. There's no approval process, so they get both healthy and not healthy folks, and they're able to price it accordingly. We
Right.
we did get feedback that people were struggling with that when comparing it to our graded benefit on the final expense. So same sort of need, very similar face amounts. Our graded still has some underwriting involved, and the pricing was a little bit off. So that's why we actually repriced at the beginning of this year, was so that we could match our graded benefit to the direct to consumer product. So now you're not going to see that same disparity that you saw before. So pricing wise, our graded compared to AARP or even our own direct to consumer product is pretty much exactly the same. So you're not going to have any problems there.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, Kristen asked, and I believe this is in reference to when you were going over the guarantee AD. He says, does that include while in a Lyft or Uber?
It absolutely does. Anything that you're a fare paying passenger on. So if I'm paying taxi cab, Lyft, Uber, anything like that, that would be considered a common carrier benefit.
Awesome. Okay. And Alicia is asking if you can go over diabetes diagnosis again after age 50.
Absolutely. So that's a great thing to requalify, just because, yeah, this again, I hear more about the diabetes question more than any of the other questions on the apps, and that's why I like to talk about it when I go through the presentation. So for us, age 50 is the qualifier, right? That's the biggest thing you have to remember, and it's when were you diagnosed. So if I'm a client that was diagnosed at age 48, maybe I'm 55 years old now, but I was diagnosed 7 years ago, I was 48. I would still only qualify for the graded benefit because my diagnosis occurred prior to me turning age 50. Even if there's no other complications involved and I'm still healthy and my A1C is controlled throughout that whole time frame, 50 is really the qualifier for us. So it has to be diagnosed at age 50 or after for us to approve that level benefit.
Awesome. So, and just a quick question to drill down on that a little bit. So, on the back end, when they're going through the script check, are they looking at if it is insulin dependent? Are they looking at the amount of units of insulin they're taking? Is that going to have an effect as far as
No,
approval is concerned?
nope,
No.
no, we don't care.
Wow.
As long as there are no other complications. So if we see that and we see gabapentin though, like that's when we're going to say, hey, there may be some other complications with the neuropathy or
Hmm.
nephropathy, that type of thing. But yeah,
Right.
beyond that, no, we're not interested in any other part of it.
Dylan, you're breaking news right now.
I know, right? People don't know about this. That's why we got to get the word out.
That is awesome. Okay. All right. As far as the Mutual of Omaha perks, are they retroactive? So to people who already have a Mutual of Omaha policy, is that something that they will be able to take advantage of also?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, it is retroactive. Every life insurance policyholder automatically gets that Mutual of Omaha perk, so they have access to it. So if you've sold Mutual of Omaha policies, that's a great get your foot in the door. Hey, I just wanted to let you know Mutual of Omaha added this thing. Because you're a Mutual of Omaha policyholder, you now have access to XYZ. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I can get you more information, and maybe we just need to get together and do a policy review and talk about what maybe you have some new insurance needs that I can help you take care of, that sort of thing. That's absolutely a great way to start the conversation.
Awesome. And Terry is asking. Actually, I'm gonna come back to you, Terry, because Wanda is piggybacking on what on what Alicia asked about. She says, if diagnosed before age 50, then do they still qualify for a graded benefit? Talking about diabetes.
Correct. Yes, they can still qualify for graded with diabetes diagnosed before age 50.
Okay. Um, and Terry has a question. We might have to go offline with this, but she says she's had issues trying to send an e-app to a prospective member. She's not receiving the email, and it's not even in her spam folder. Is this something on the back end that Mutual of Omaha knows is being experienced?
I mean, we do occasionally hear about e-app hiccups. I'll say that usually the first line of defense is to switch your web browser. I don't know if that's going to help in this specific scenario, but
Hmm.
if you're using, say Safari, switch to Chrome. That's usually something that I know our tech folks will have them do, and maybe 85% of the time that fixes whatever issue there is. But if there is something deeper happening, yeah, we can take it offline and get our tech folks involved.
Okay. And one more question here. As far as Living Promise, do you think Mutual of Omaha will add 10 and 20 pay options?
Um, I So the answer is I can never say never because things change eventually. What I can say is there's no project or design for us to do that right now. Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's kind of it. So, yeah, we've got no initiative to do that. If we saw a big enough need for us to develop that,
Sure.
I certainly would. Are there? I'll ask you this, Brian. Are there other companies that are having success with that type of strategy? Is that something that we should look into?
Yeah. I mean, it's something that it's an option that other carriers are do have available.
Okay.
As far as what their success is and how many of those policies are being written, I don't know. But
Okay.
it is something that is available.
All right. I might hit you up with some more questions on that after this.
Okay, no problem. And we have one more question just come in. What is the oldest age available for the term product you discussed?
70. So it goes through age 70. So if as long as if I sign that application and I'm 70 years old, we'll accept it and underwrite it.
Awesome. All right. So, Dylan, I appreciate you taking the time, being so thorough, going over this information with those who are on the line with us. Before we close things out, is there anything that you want to say to the agents on the line with us in closing?
No, no, just thank you guys so much for doing what you do. It's been a crazy last few months, and I have just been so impressed with the professionalism and the work ethic of the people that help promote and sell Mutual of Omaha products. So it's just it's been fantastic to see the resiliency of everybody in this industry. So I just want to extend my thanks. I'll also in addition to this presentation, Brian, please share my contact info. I'll send you my contact info as well and all that stuff. So
Absolutely.
any other questions that come up after the fact with any of this stuff, guys, let me know. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to take phone calls and emails and whatever you need. We want you to have success with Mutual of Omaha, and I want to do everything I can to make sure that every process you encounter is smooth and silky. So thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dylan. Once again, I appreciate you. I appreciate everyone that took time out of your day today to join us this morning. Hopefully, you did learn something that's going to help you. I know I did. It's the diabetes information you went over, Dylan, in particularly as far as insulin and the amount of units and things like that. So I have a feeling that you're going to see a spike as far as the diabetes, because a lot of people are they weren't aware of that. I know that I wasn't as an agent. So that's
All right, I'm
awesome.
gonna
But
hold you to it.
hope yeah, absolutely. But hopefully everyone on the line, you learned something. You take this with you out into the field or over the phone, however it is you choose to sell. If you are not contracted with Mutual of Omaha, and you are a Messer agent, make sure that you go into your portal and you request to be appointed with them. This is an awesome company to have or carrier to have in your back pocket. I can tell you, when I was in the field on a regular basis, they were my go-to. So make sure that you request to be appointed with them through Sure LC, and our contracting department will make sure to forward the information over to Mutual of Omaha. If you are not contracted with Messer and you have questions about partnering with us, this type of information is what we present multiple times a week. And this will give you an idea of what we do offer and what we want to invest in our agents. If you have any additional questions about partnering with us, please contact our marketing department at 866 568 9649, extension 7819, or you can email them at mfgmarketing@messerfinancial.com, and they'll be happy to discuss the advantages of Messer for your business. Also, take a moment to check out our events calendar at messerfinancial.com. And we will be having webinar workshops scheduled throughout the year with valuable information like Dylan just shared with us. But once again, I thank you all so much for joining us. And please take care of yourselves and everyone around you. Have a great day.